Hi, this is Bill Watkins. It's so good to be with you again today, and I hope things are going well. I tend to get with folks and ask them weird questions sometimes, and I asked some questions just yesterday to some people about if today were a fish, what would it be like? And one of them said I'd throw it back, and another one said it would be so good that I'd mount it and want to see it for a long time to come, and another one said, well, it's kind of like the big one that got away. And I said, okay, so if today was a movie, would it be a comedy? Would it be a tragedy? Would it be an out-of-sync foreign film? Would it be something you'd want to see again and again? Somebody said, I'd ask for my money back. So some people are having great days, some people are having terrible days, and that's life. If your day was a folk hero, one of them said, well, it would be The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, I lost my head today. And another one said, well, for me, it'd be Rip Van Winkle, it's just a snoozer of a day. And another one said, well, I'd be Johnny Appleseed because this day's been really, really fruitful. Good things have been happening today. I asked if your life was a planet, what would it be? And one of them said, well, it'll be Mars. It's a war I'm in right now. Another one said, well, it'd be Venus because it's too hot to handle, or love is in the air. So Mercury was too hot to handle. And another one said, I'd be Saturn. I'm just running rings around all of you guys. And one of them said, well, I'd be Pluto. I'd be a little cold and lonely. All kinds of things happen to us every single day. So when I talk to you about what you ought to do today and who we are today, a lot of that has to do with where you are today and what's going on with you. But there's some things the Bible has to say about things to do today. Listen to some passages that I just find helpful to my life all the time. Here's the first one, Psalm 118, verse 24. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. In Psalm 16, verse 11, David said, you will show me the path of life. In your presence is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore. On any given day, there will be a baby born. There will be a funeral that will occur. There will be marriages that begin. There will be marriages that end. There will be enough to see that can break your heart and enough to see that can make you incredibly joyful. But the choice that I have in the day is a choice of my attitude. And the thing that keeps the attitude joyful is that this is not a day God hasn't considered. This is not a day God didn't see coming. This is the day that the Lord has made. He actually knows what he's doing today. So the point is, in this moment, be joyful. Even if sorrowful things are occurring, God is in control, and he made this day. Here's another piece of advice from the scriptures. It's in Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 18 through 20. Here's what I've seen. It's good and fitting for one to eat and drink and to enjoy the good of all his labor, which he toils under the sun, all the days of his life, which God gives him, for it's his heritage. For every man to whom God has given riches and wealth and given him power to eat of it, to receive his heritage and rejoice in his labor, this is a gift of God. For he will not dwell unduly on the days of his life, because God keeps him busy with the joy of his heart. Here's what Solomon is saying. Live in this moment. We spend too much of our time hoping we can be somewhere else, wishing we were somewhere in the future toward that day that we've been planning for. Or a lot of older people that I know spend a great deal of their day regretting their past and saying, I wish I had done that differently. It's time to stop doing that. Yes, there's things that are good that can happen in the future and things that are bad. And yes, there's a lot of things we could have done differently, but I can't do anything about that today. So live in this moment. We make our legacy one day at a time. Living in this day and not tomorrow or yesterday. Living in this day is the day that God has given me. It's the day that changes can take place. You know, in Isaiah chapter 43, beginning in verse 18, Isaiah said, do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. He says, I do a new thing, and it will spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. And he was talking about the good things that had happened to him, the deliverance from Egypt, the crossing of the Red Sea. He said, don't think so much about that. I'm doing something right now. When I look back at my life, I can't just live yesterday. Live today. Be in this moment. Take opportunities that are available to you right now. How many friendships are missed because I'm thinking about tomorrow or regretting yesterday? Maybe I should look at today. All kinds of opportunities are all around me, everywhere. Here's another thing about it. Hebrews chapter 13, verses 5 and 6. Keep your life free from money, Be content with what you have, for he has said, I will never leave you, nor in any wise forsake you. So we can confidently say, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear. What can man do to me? Here's the point. Be content, don't worry, and remember that God's with you today. This is what it is. So don't be anxious for tomorrow, or tomorrow will be anxious for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is its own trouble. That's Matthew chapter 6. Maybe just two more things. I know we could do this for the next 2 hours, and I don't want to take 2 hours of your time. You have things you need to do today. This is the day the Lord has made. There's things you need to do. So I would take you to Ephesians 5:15 and 16, where he says, see that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. Now this is interesting, redeeming the time, for the days are evil. The word redeeming there, and it means to ransom, to pay the ransom, or to rescue from ruin. This day is the day God has made, but it can be ruined. I need to take those moments that are passing me by and grab hold of them. Make them count for something today. Not let anything get in the way of making this day count. Buy up the time. This day can be wasted and left in ruin, or it can be one of the greatest days of your life. But this day, whether it's good or whether it's bad, is dependent not just on the fact that God made it and that God is with you, but what you do with the time you have. So he says, redeem the time. Your life's like a vapor. It appears for a little while and then vanishes away. It's a short time we have. It gets by very, very quickly. I can remember like it was yesterday being 3 years old and seeing my dad go out to wash the car. I can remember even earlier than that sitting in my mama's lap at church and listening to her sing. I'm many, many years past those, and it just went like that. It's amazing how life has passed. Don't think that every day is always going to be here. Don't think you have tomorrow to make everything right, to correct all the relationships, or to study like you thought you should, or to do what you thought you would. Start today. There isn't any other day you have except today. Maybe one more thing. It's from Hebrews chapter 3, verse 13. Exhort one another daily while it is called a day, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. Find somebody today that you can encourage. Just be an encourager to somebody today. And when you do, you'll be encouraged yourself. Listen, thanks so much for watching.